What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some awesome information for you guys, but before we get into that, please make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe if you're someone new. Now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into the topics, and we're starting off with Masahiro Sakurai and Kid Icarus Uprising and the potential for a sequel, a port, remaster on the Nintendo Switch or a future console. Now, Masahiro Sakurai was celebrating the game's anniversary in Japan with a screenshot from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and he also kind of threw in there that he gets many requests from fans for a remake, a port, a remaster of Kid Icarus Uprising on the Nintendo Switch, but he kind of shot that down right there, saying that it would be difficult for him to do so. Now, back in 2018, he also stated the same thing, that it probably wouldn't happen, it'd be difficult. Now, there's a number of factors that are going against this game when it comes to it coming over, right? So one, it was made by a team that was put together just for that game with Sora and the people that he got to make the game, so that's the first problem. The second problem would probably be like the money and the development. The game did okay, but for an HD version or for a remaster to actually make it high quality, it would definitely be a pricey type of game, and the game didn't do amazingly well. So the funding would be an issue too, in terms of if Nintendo wants to even do that to where it'd be a profitable type of venture for them. Next up would be Masahiro Sakurai's extremely busy. He's still been working on all of the Super Smash Bros. Content, and he just really is just kind of going through that. So there hasn't been really any time for him to do some type of Kid Icarus Uprising sequel or port. But here's the thing, guys. I still feel that this is very much possible in the future on the Nintendo Switch or a future Nintendo platform, and I'm going to give you guys a number of reasons why. One, I do think that this current Super Smash Bros. Game is going to last a lot longer than the last Super Smash Bros. Game. Nintendo obviously had a system with the Wii U that didn't do well, right? Just didn't do well. So they wanted to make sure that their next system had a Super Smash Bros. Game early in its life, and the sales have been continuing. The sales are still going strong. It's still in the top 10 in Japan, still in the NPD sales here, still in the European sales as well. So there's no reason to really rush out another Super Smash Bros. Game. And that reminds me of back when there was Super Smash Bros. Brawl, because at the time, that was the best-selling Super Smash Bros. Game, and Sakurai had plenty of time to kind of just relax and kind of do something else after Super Smash Bros. Brawl launched, so therefore they started putting together Kid Icarus Uprising. There's a lot of parallels between the Wii and the Nintendo Switch when it comes to the rapid system sales and how the Smash Bros. Game was performing on the main platform that it was on. So to me, it makes sense that he would get a break after this, especially with all the DLC. I think Sakurai gets a break, and he could potentially get started on a Kid Icarus remaster or Kid Icarus Uprising sequel or something that he could do. But there have to be a solid plan put together. There'd have to be a way for this game to do well, and they definitely have to make sure that people know about the game and people want to play it. And I think that the controls and everything obviously would be a bit different because they actually have a dual analog here, so they wouldn't have to worry about having to stand and kind of playing with carpal tunnel in your hands and all that stuff, because the controls for the Nintendo 3DS game were a bit weird. But from a technical perspective, that is one of the most impressive games on the Nintendo 3DS system, if not the most impressive when it comes to single player, what they did there, the graphics in that game, the multiplayer. It was packed. It felt like a full console experience on that tiny screen of the Nintendo 3DS when it launched. So I do feel that Sakurai could get back to it. Now, another thing is that the Nintendo Switch is wildly successful, right? I talked about how there was the parallels with the Wii. The Switch is successful, so I do think that it could do a lot better than what we saw with the Nintendo 3DS, just because there are so many more Super Smash Bros. Fans that know who Pit is at this point. There are so many more fans of the Kid Icarus franchise just because of Smash Bros. And just because of what they've been doing with the Nintendo Switch and the system sales. This is the best that they've had it in a long time. And if you're looking at a Kid Icarus game, this would be, with the exception of the Game Boy, if they released the new Kid Icarus on the Switch, it would be the biggest install base for a Kid Icarus game, because the NES had it, there was the Game Boy, and then also Nintendo 3DS, so this would be the second highest, and by the time that they were done, it might pass up the Game Boy at some point. So there's a lot more fans that could get into it at this point. And I'll also say this when it comes to him saying that it wouldn't be possible or it'd be very difficult. These are the type of words that he's used. Sakurai is just the man for that type of thing. When Sakurai says it'd be very difficult or it's hard, that's exactly what he wants. He wants a challenge. He stated that multiple times. Remember what he said about Steve getting into Super Smash Bros., how hard it would be? So he said, of course we can do it. That's what Sakurai wants. The man is a beast when it comes to challenges. Look at Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That is the ultimate challenge when it comes to a fighting game. A crossover that big, never been done before in gaming when it comes to this scale. All the different characters and franchises and the amount of work that they had to do in the small amount of time that they did have, that would be impossible for many other people out there. But Sakurai and his team with Bandai Namco and Nintendo, they got it done. So when he's saying stuff like that, I almost feel like Sakurai's just setting up for, like, you know what, it'd be difficult, it'd be impossible, or it'd be very hard to do, but you know what, I'm gonna get it done. Heck, I even think that them resurrecting Kid Icarus in the first place and getting that type of gameplay, that was really hard too, right? Nobody expected the type of gameplay that Kid Icarus had. So I'm definitely expecting Masahiro Sakurai and Nintendo to find a way to get it done and rise up to the challenge here. But what are your thoughts on a potential sequel, remaster, remake for Kid Icarus Uprising on the Nintendo Switch, or in the future for a platform that Nintendo does? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Moving on to the next topic here, guys. Shin Megami Tensei V is once again reconfirmed for the Nintendo Switch in 2021. On the official Mega 10 Atlus Twitter account, they went back to their old banner, but their bio is a bit different. Now, they gave us a promise that the future of Shin Megami Tensei V would be released this year, and you guys are seeing that right there. It is in Japanese, but they are once again reconfirming that. Now, we talked about this before, about information coming soon with Shin Megami Tensei V on the Nintendo Switch, and I think that everything is pretty much in line and in order for a release this year, and there's a number of reasons why. One, they still stayed true to their Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster Spring release date. That is set up there. They're going to have the day one patch for that game to fix up some of the issues, and they've also done some other things as well in terms of what they're doing with the Digital Deluxe and all of that. So they've detailed all of that. Everything's ready to go when it comes to May 25th of this year for that game, and there's quite a bit of stuff done to that game to actually make it a much better release from what we got on the PlayStation 2 back in the day. So they followed up on that, and they didn't have any delays there. So if they didn't have any delays there, something tells me that everything's going to be okay when it comes to Shin Megami Tensei V, and they're waiting for that big, probably Nintendo Direct blowout or Atlus event blowout to kind of show off that game, because at this point we still haven't seen some actual combat or real gameplay footage for their first Unreal Engine 4 game, which is also very exciting. But I think that's one of the reasons why they want to wait and kind of hold off on this one. They're trying to make Shin Megami Tensei V into something bigger than it's ever been before. Now, yes, it's been on bigger platforms when it comes to system sales, but when it comes to the actual emphasis and kind of what's going on and all eyes on a platform, the Switch is probably the most impressive platform so far, because the PS2 just had so many RPGs and so much stuff. So this is the most impressive look that people are going to get at this type of game with Unreal Engine 4 and with the Nintendo Switch blowing up and kind of satisfying the handheld fans that want to play a Mega 10 game on the go, but also satisfying the console fans that want high quality graphics. So you're going to get a lot of people from both, because you have to remember, Shin Megami Tensei was always a PlayStation type of franchise, then it moved over to the Nintendo DS platforms, 3DS and stuff like that. So you have a little bit of a split base. You have people who do remember it on the consoles like the PlayStation 2 and want to play it on the TV, but then you also have people that remember it and like it a lot on the handheld platforms with Shin Megami Tensei 4 and 4 Finals. So I do think that you're going to get probably a lot more people to buy into this game than you've got before in the past. And I think Atlus knows this, but they have to make sure that they nail the first reveal of the game when it comes to combat and gameplay. RPG fans can be very judgmental when they first see something and decide whether they're going to buy the game or not when they first see that actual gameplay. So I think that's the reason why they're kind of holding off on it and making sure that it's ready to go, polished, and when you see it, you're going to instantly want to pre-order it right then and there. So they're waiting for that. Plus, I also feel that they're waiting for Nintendo to set it up and they also want to get people primed up and ready to go for Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster, because if you look at it, guys, most people haven't played that game. That was not a massive seller on the PlayStation 2 or anything like that, and now it's coming to 3 platforms that have a large base of people to buy from, right? With the PlayStation 4, PC via Steam, and the Nintendo Switch. I mean, you really can't go wrong with those 3 platforms when it comes to exposure. So I do feel that they want to get people buying that game, get people into the Mega 10 franchise once again on consoles, right? And then have that big Shin Megami Tensei 5 reveal for everybody to get excited for and hype for as well. So those are my thoughts on Shin Megami Tensei 5. I think it's going to be very impressive. I think it's going to look fantastic. I think that they're really going to show people that, hey, this is a game that we've been working on for a long time, and you're going to want to pick it up, especially if you're a Persona RPG or Mega 10 fan. So I think that's what they're kind of waiting for, and I think it's going to be very cool. So what are your thoughts on this, guys, when it comes to the first topic that we discussed with Kid Icarus Uprising and also with Shin Megami Tensei 5? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Going to give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.